What is up, Jake? No, not yet, but we're going to solve that here in a second. Now, go ahead, try it again.
All right. Hopefully my mic is on now. Sorry,
Yes.
I always forget to turn my mic on. Welcome everybody over on YouTube, on Periscope, and Stream.me. Rocky's on YouTube.
Hey,
Steve
Rocky.
Lauder's on YouTube.
Steve.
And Sandra and Tracy and Tigris. They're all on Periscope.
Yes, absolutely. And let me give a shout out to Stephen for a second. Well, actually, I'll tell you what. We'll get to that in a second. Steve, hold on, because haven't forgotten about you. We're going to talk about your effort to help veterans here in just a few. Would like to graciously thank everyone who got us over a 100 subs.
Yes,
man, I tell you what, it felt good, especially in the shadows of Laura Loomer getting shadow banned, that whole deal that was going on. Ever so important to have multiple platforms to fall back on. That way you don't have to handcuff yourself to the home office of Twitter, although I feel she was justified in doing it. Matter of fact, I remember as soon as we hit 100 subs, I remember the first thing I did.
He's talking about 100 subs on YouTube, by the way, for those of you who don't know. Thanks to everybody for getting us 100 subs on YouTube. I know we've been pushing that a lot, but we really needed it to make our custom URL. Real quick, Rich, we have some more people. Dr. B over there.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
Larry Gump joined. Arnie, his Periscope. Let's see who else. All right, go ahead, Rich. Sorry.
No, that's good. Haven't seen Larry in a while. Larry, hope you're doing well. Dr. B, glad you're with us tonight. So good deal. But yeah, I remember I called Tony. Tony was out on his speedboat out in the Atlantic when I found out that we had actually broken the 100 subs. But he did send me a picture back from the boat. Yeah, he's a big nautical sort of guy. And here's a picture of him that he sent back. So here he is. He's out on his speedboat. He sent that back to me. Just a little congratulations.
Now I'm on a delay, so I can't see the picture yet.
No, that's fine. You'll see it here in just a second. Tell me when you do.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was him. And so he's on the USS Dorsey Sucks, as you'll see. Of course, it looks like he has...
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me right now?
Look,
what is that behind? A whale?
No,
or is that just me in the boat?
No, that is a shark fin, I believe, tracking you there. But that's okay. It looks like you're in a sturdy...
nice.
Sturdy ocean-going vehicle. So I think you're going to be okay. But anyway...
That's funny. Now, real quick, before we go any further, prayers to those in Alaska, which we should have said first before we reached 100 subs on YouTube. But real quick, prayers to those in Alaska with the 7.0 earthquake. Earlier, they had a tsunami warning, but they quickly canceled that. Last I checked, nobody had lost their life, but a lot of damage. Roads just wiped out. I don't know if you guys seen the footage of the traffic backed up for miles. Oh my God, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's an isolated area anyway, and so getting help there is tough to do. I would like to mention, for those of you who hear Jake's microphone slur, he hasn't had more than his normal allotted amount of Captain and Coke tonight. He's got audio that is a little droopy. So
It's like slurring still?
Just occasionally. I mean, it's not every word, but there are words in there that sound pretty slurred.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
so I only had one Captain and Coke. I would tell you, the slurring, give me some time. That might happen.
That's it. That's it. So, yeah, so I want to give a shout out here, and I don't have the Twitter pulled up. Stephen Lauder, who's over here on YouTube, he is trying to get a GoFundMe thing set up. He is a veteran himself, great individual, stellar guy. He is trying to work with veterans who have a hard time adjusting, coming back, maybe have some trials and tribulations, trying to get them mentally back on track. So he's trying to get a GoFundMe thing. He's an avid hiker, and so what he's wanting to do is raise awareness, raise some money to be able to take out some veterans on some hiking expeditions, clear their mind, get them back in touch with themselves. You know,
awesome.
And so we're going to be putting up a Twitter for that. He was denied. It's kind of weird too. He was trying to get Facebook to help with the advertisement on this. He was twice denied by Facebook for it. They were saying it was too political for them to put an ad out. And if I'm wrong on this, he'll correct me later. But as far as
Nobody would be surprised at that Facebook doesn't want to help veterans.
yeah, so when he kept pursuing it and saying, "Listen, guys, this isn't a political thing. What do I need to change? What nomenclature? Just tell me what I need to do." Eventually, after really not giving any response except for the typical form stuff that they send out, they told him that the ad was accepted. But even on his Facebook stuff, where he would get like 600 likes for liking something, he was only getting like two impressions or something like that. So, yeah. So please, when we put that out there, and we will, Jake will put it on his Vantage Point USA Twitter and on his Total News, and I will put
Absolutely.
I'll put it on the 1600 Reasons Why. But please check it out. Support if you feel inclined to. If not, nothing else. Give him a shout out. Tell him he's doing a great job, because obviously it's an important thing. And here,
Absolutely. And you said, yeah, Stephen Lauder is on YouTube right now, so that's who we're talking about. Obviously, I'll definitely hook Steven up. I'll try to get it out to some bigger accounts, like Coda Vets and Ann Vandersteel and some of the big dogs out there, and we can get his program going. Anything to help veterans, man. I'll go the extra mile for that. So shout out to Steven.
Yeah, exactly. And hello to Enabler Abe and Sandra Jones. Good to see you guys. So yeah,
Absolutely.
So the big brouhaha yesterday was obviously the Laura Loomer story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Laura Loomer. Now, many of you seen it, but some of you may have not. But first time we really had a huge program on Vantage Point on Periscope. 14,000 views. Was Laura Loomer handcuffs herself to the door of the Twitter office in New York. And it was epic for sure. And now, whether you like Laura Loomer or you don't, being shut down, we discussed this with the same thing with Alex Jones, whether you like him or not. You shouldn't celebrate somebody being shut down just because you don't like them, because the next time it could be somebody you like or you yourself.
Right.
So I shout out to her for getting out there, man. It was freezing. She, handcuffed herself, and I was asking anybody in the local area to go out there and support her. There's so many people that claim they're in the fight and they sit behind their keyboard. You know, several of us went out to Broward. You got to get out from behind your computer and actually get in the trenches. You know, you're not a warrior if you're just behind your keyboard. So shout out to Laura Loomer, man, for going out there. She could have been arrested. She could have been attacked by Antifa, which I personally wouldn't handcuff myself to a door.
Yeah, it kind of leaves you a little defenseless. Yeah.
Show up, I want both my hands to fight, but whatever. It worked out okay. God's on our side, I guess. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
And one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to toss up her tweet, because here's the crazy thing about it. I mean, it's not just so much that her Twitter account permanently got shut down. It's what it was for, and poring over Twitter, which isn't that much. I mean, there's not that much reading to do on it, because it's more objective on their part than it is actually laid out in their statement. This is what her actual tweet was that she put out there. It says, "Isn't it ironic, just ironic, it's just a pondering, how the Twitter moment used to celebrate women and LGBTQ and minority is a picture of Ilhan Omar. She's pro-Sharia. And if you don't know what that means, study up on it, because she makes a great point here about how homosexuals are oppressed under Sharia law, and that women are abused, the whole female mutilation thing. So, yeah, but she said nothing in there. She said it's ironic. She made no call for any action. She made nothing there. She just said, "Hey, take a look at it. See if you find it ironic like I did." That's no more than I read into that. I mean, if you look on their abuse and hateful conduct, it says, you may not engage in the targeted harassment of someone. That's not harassment. When you post something that's 4 sentences.
It's a fact.
And it's a fact. She supports Sharia law, and she is a congressman. And this is what they
Congresswoman
for
now.
For now, that's it. We consider abusive behavior an attempt to harass, intimidate, or silence someone else's voice. So, yeah, that's pretty much all they do. The rest of it is objective. And the crazy thing about it is that the only person who silenced someone's voice was Twitter, because they took Laura out of the equation by booting her. So
yeah, and above the door she had posted early on in the video, you could see where there was a gentleman on the ladder, and he was putting Louis Farrakhan's tweet and Laura Loomer's tweet up above the door where she handcuffed herself. And Louis Farrakhan's still up there after he says something calling Jews basically termites, which
Right.
I don't believe anybody should be banned unless you're calling for violence and telling people to kill themselves.
Right.
So the point is, if you're going to allow that, then you need to allow everything. But that guy, he was clearly trying to knock that person off the ladder. So actually, he should be charged for that. I mean, but of course, she's probably not. She wasn't arrested, despite what the rumors were put out on Twitter and Periscope that she was arrested.
And yeah, I'd interrupt you 1 second, because I saw something in the chat that was also something that was left in the comments. It said, truly brave to stand in front of the Twitter office for 2 hours. The reason that, and this was not on the video, she didn't let herself go from the handcuffs of the window. They actually came up with bolt cutters and just snapped her handcuffs. So it wasn't she unlocked after 2 hours and called it quits. They couldn't get the key to it because she had thrown away the key, and then they went ahead and took the bolt cutters and cut the bolts. So as far as that goes, no, it was more than a 2 hour thing. So
even if it was 2 minutes in New York City, that's like the heart of liberal country.
Yeah,
she went out there, right, and she could have totally got attacked by a number of people.
Yeah, I mean,
especially people who know who she is. I mean, even 2 minutes being out there is brave in New York. Forget it.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously it was almost like Twitter playing out in the open air. I mean, you had your trolls that were there that were throwing insults at her for what she was trying to do. You had her supporters there that were cheering her on. So yeah, and I don't think we really want Twitter to play out on the streets. I don't think that's a good policy. I mean, Twitter is supposed to be a venue that even the meekest and smallest of us can put what we feel and what our ideas are out there without fear of any type of harm coming to you. And it's supposed to be the exchange of ideas. And if not the exchange of idea, you espouse what you want, someone else espouses what they want. I mean, that's as simple as it can be. If you're not calling for violence, you're not calling for, whatever, then you should be allowed to do it. So yeah, it is kind of sad, but it speaks to the bigger issue of who's being targeted. I don't think there's, obviously with Alex Jones going out, there's not a too big to fail. I mean, with that amount of subscribers and they shut them off on all three at one time, obviously that is a motivated, driven thing that they did. But
right. For some, Christy on Lady Christy 3877036, not to be mistaken with Christy 3877034. She said the only thing I have to say about Laura Loomer, she's a conspiracy theorist, a racist, bitch, and doesn't deserve attention. Now, that's your opinion, and that's okay. But she shouldn't be shut down for that. The answer to hate speech is more speech, not less. You know what I mean? So whatever. But then, and the great Michael Cohen is a hero for trying to take down the most unfit, flawed fool.
Yeah.
In political history. Okay, so we obviously Christy is a big President Trump supporter. So welcome to the show, and we welcome your opinion as long as you keep it respectful to me, Rich, and my viewers. You're welcome to have a different opinion. We don't block people for different opinions. If you get nasty, I'll kick your ass out of here faster than you can blink. So
yeah, and I mean, as far as the conspiracy theory goes, I have that definition I always put out there. It's just an alternative truth that has neither been proven nor not proven. And many things in history that were assumed to have been conspiracies have proved out to be in fact. So you shouldn't stand against people espousing other ideas of how things have happened when proof and facts have not really been solidified in concrete. So,
Sure.
yeah,
Many conspiracy theories start out as that, and then they wind up being true, if not months later, years later, or decades later. So, we can't shut down everything that people think are
that's right. And if we're going to have the discussion on a racist woman, then something more constructive to do would be to actually cite something that she said that's actually racist. Being Jewish, I think that she stands on on a minority platform anyway. So if there's something that you can actually produce rather than just some ethereal "she's racist," which is a very lame statement to make, post something.
No, and I agree, Rich. Too many times we throw out the racist card. We don't, but other people do. When they have no argument, they throw out, he's a racist, he's a Nazi, she's a Nazi, she's a racist, instead of just pointing out facts. And most of the time, it turns out they're not racist. So you really discredit real racism that actually exists in this country, whether it's white to black or Spanish to black or black to white. There's all kinds of racism. So, like you said, you should actually quote something that she said that's racist and back it up with proof before you just pull that card out.
Yeah, I mean, when people talk about institutional racism and they talk about implicit bias and all this other stuff, they're very, very seldom are they actually able to produce the actual thing that they're talking about. They're just, it's one of those, we're oppressed, this is why people oppress us, institutions oppress us. Give the
Absolutely.
Cite the example. So I'll cite an example for you just to take it off subject here real quick. You may have seen this in the news here. So Chick-fil-A says they welcome anybody who comes into the restaurant on any college campus, which they're on many. Obviously controversial with the LGBTQ plus whatever crowd, because Dan Cathy came out in 2012 and said that marriage should be between one man and one woman. Rider University has said that they are no longer on their list of franchise affiliates that can come on their campus with their food. They said their corporate values have not sufficiently progressed enough to align with those of Rider. It really strikes me funny that the inclusivity does not include a Christian-based company who doesn't sit there and hand out Bibles as you walk through the door. They are simply owned and have a corporate philosophy, or as far as from the ownership, that, hey, we're just a Christian organization. We make food. And their representative from Chick-fil-A even said, hey, listen, we produce food and product and customer service, and that's what we're here for, So for
absolutely, and I'm glad you talked about this, because I knew there was a college that kicked Chick-fil-A off their campus, which I'm sure a lot of people are not very happy, because Chick-fil-A is awesome. But can you imagine if a college kicked off a, let's say, Muslim-owned business? Oh my God, forget it.
Yeah,
it'd be like breaking news on CNN, Clinton News Network.
Yeah, it really would. And so, I mean, and there's examples of this all over the place. I know that, what's the other? Okay, you want to talk about another one? Here's another one. After the synagogue massacre, the University of Michigan hosted an event featuring speakers supporting divestment from Israel 2 days after the massacre claimed 11 lives, and that's University of Michigan's. The Republican chapter demanded school apologize for hosting the event, because they did host it. But the Arabic and Islamic culture professor who hosted it called the claim that the BDS, which stands for Boycott, Divestment, Sanction Movement, is that they're anti-Semitic, is patently false. Now, if you look at those names there, Susan, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, Tom, I'm not going to pronounce any of them, but of the last of them, that Arif guy who spoke at the event is co-founder of the International Solidarity Movement. Now, the ISM has always been accused of providing material support to terrorism. So here you go. Now, this is the Michigan. This is the Michigan, and this is their faculty. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that's on campus. This is the kind of stuff that you're up against. That your kids are up against when they go to these schools that they're shoving down their throats. So when I see the conservative view being taken down off of the internet, okay, here's the deal. We're not in school anymore. We're out of school. We don't have a platform of a college university and a college campus to be able to espouse our conservative views. They're being silently pushed off of the college universities. So where else can you do it except for social media? So if our yardstick is a different accountability yardstick than the left's yardstick, we lose. There's no way for us to win that battle.
Absolutely. And this has to stop. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to see government control of the internet. That's the last thing we need. Nobody's asking for government control. We're just asking for equality. You know what I mean? Like, these people need to be hauled in front of court and answer like real questions, not these softball questions they send at these social media hacks. I can't think of any other name. So
yeah. Now that
anyway, real quick, go ahead, Rich. You had another point.
Well, I was just going to say, now that the Democrats have taken control of the House, what do you think the odds of them actually holding these people to any accountability? I mean, do you think that they're really going to take an organization that's waxing their competition off the face of social media?
Nope.
You think they're actually going to they're going to take them to task? I don't think so.
No,
anyway,
absolutely not.
You were going to say something. Sorry.
Yeah, no, just switching gears to the whole Russia and the G20 and President Trump not meeting with Putin, and apparently Macron over there was approaching the Saudi Arabian prince there and, warning him about what he did. I doubt that highly. And President Trump, not meeting with Putin, which is a perfect example of how he's not controlled by Putin. We all know Putin wants the old Soviet Union back. Oh, yeah. He definitely, I'm predicting this. He will try to take Ukraine. I could be wrong, and that's okay. But, that's what he wants. He wants the Soviet Union. But then you got Cohen, Michael Cohen, the shady attorney, you know what I mean? That all of a sudden lied, then he didn't lie, then he lied again, and he tried to get a taxi medallion illegally and by fraud and all these other things. We're supposed to now believe that he lied about no connections with Russia and this whole Trump hotel. They talked about building a Trump hotel in Russia. All of a sudden, we're going to believe that when he said no, there was no Russian connection, and now he says there is. We should believe him. I mean, come on, are you kidding me? This guy has gone back and forth in life. His butt is on the line. He's facing years in prison. So we're going to, listen to his opinion and believe now he's telling the truth because he was strong-armed by Mueller, the clown.
Right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, and the whole thing about the tie-in with Assange, Julian Assange, as far as this information, you can feel what you want about Julian Assange. He's provided a lot. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who's put paid to some conspiracy theories. Some of the documents that have been released as far as throughout the years of WikiLeaks are very eye-opening. I know the government would like to get rid of them. But yeah, I don't know that I really have that. And I've always said this. I really don't care so much who the messenger is, as long as the facts that they provide in the message are accurate and that they're true. So
absolutely,
yeah. So, but yeah,
it's so funny that they're pushing this whole Russian collusion. That Roger Stone talked to what's his name, the guy that they're trying to go after now, Jerome Corsi, and that's the connection to Trump with the emails that they got from the DNC.
Right.
What are you talking about? This blatant Russian collusion from this bullcrap dossier that they got from Steele, who got it from shady Russians. I mean, there's your Russian collusion. Do we need to go any further? Nobody's even looking at this. It's like crazy, man. I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone.
Yep, you actually are. I truly believe that we are. So, yeah. So, anyway.
What next we got on there?
Well, I mean, we can always... Oh, I'll tell you what. Hold on. Here's a cute one. This one is... let's see if I pull this up. We'll talk about the caravan for a second. I always find that entertaining, but I was doing some more research on it, and this is an interesting thing that's going on now. This is obviously the UC Berkeley thing is always what it is, but So the documents that they put forth, this was like a manifesto that the students put. They wanted University of Berkeley student government voted unanimously to pass a resolution to support of giving $1,500 to migrant immigrants at the U.S. southern border. Latino students warned student senators that voting no on the resolution would be ignorant and violent. I don't know what part of the violent thing it was, but this document they put forth says the United States, fueled by corporate greed, has strategically intervened in the Central American politics and warfare, therefore strengthening the U.S. economy and further disregarding the livelihood of the citizens in these countries. Okay? Now, one of the things that I find out really funny about this is that if you go back in time, now you have 14,000, well, I'll click off of this, we'll come right back to it here. You got 14,000 able-bodied people that are now at the border. In today it's 28. So this coming Sunday, they're going to hold their elections down in Honduras for the next president, okay? Now the one guy, that's running, and I'll have to look at his name. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's Hernandez. He is more the right-wing guy. He's the one who believes in putting the military and the army and the military police, which, by the way, has had a fantastic effect on their crime rate. So let me pull this up here. While the main driver of Honduras breakdown in law and order, obviously, is the drug trade, it's little surprise then security crisis is dominating the campaign trail down there for Sunday's presidential election. Juan Hernandez, who's a candidate for the ruling Conservative Party, believes in strengthening military presence on the streets. And that puts him at odds with the leftists, which is the First Lady whose husband, Manuel Zelaya, was deposed in a 2009 coup that threw him out of office. Now, the really funny thing about this is if you look at this, U.S. cuts aid to Honduras. This is back September 3rd, 2009. Oh, who was it? I'm sorry. The Obama administration, okay, at the information that Hillary Clinton was giving, said that, no, he wasn't ousted. First, we said we were going to cut aid, all right? And then we said, no, we're not going to cut aid because it's not actually a coup. So we were supposed to stand behind the guy who was there, and we're supposed to cut off any financial aid, and we didn't. We started giving it to other people. Crime skyrocketed. It was sitting at around, I think it's 90 people per 100,000 were killed. Now, there's a population of around 9 million people there. Since now, we've installed more conservative policies as far as military and everything. That's dropped in half. It's dropped in half. So it's fun. Wow. It's funny that the people in Berkeley, when Hillary Clinton was cutting aid to them back in the day, they don't hold her accountable because she's one of their own, doesn't hold them accountable. But yeah, so as far as the point being is this: 14,000 of you should be back in your homeland voting in this election to try to affect change, rather than leaving your countrymen and your families and your friends to just to basically cover your own bacon and run up here to the land of good and plenty. So yeah, right. So I've always had a problem with that, and that was one of them. So
yeah, well, I caught a quick interview with Geraldo Rivera. Oh my God. And Dan Bongino was asking him a straight question, and Sean Hannity, he's like, what would you do? What should the border patrols do when they're throwing rocks in their face? And he's going on, these are women and children. And he's like, you're not answering the question. What should they do when they're getting rocks thrown in their face? He's like, oh, well, you shouldn't gas them. He's like, stop saying what you shouldn't do. Tell me what you would do, right?
Right.
And then they're like, oh, these are women and children, and our country welcomes people. I'm sorry, but the last time I looked on the Statue of Liberty, it didn't say, bring me your MS-13 and bring me your chicken pox.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a reason that we have a border and protection. And these people are not just women and children. They're hurling cement and rocks in people's faces. You know, Geraldo Rivera is such a clown. along with Juan Williams. I can't even take them anymore to listen to them.
Yeah, and don't quote me on the exact number, but I believe under the Obama administration there was over 1,000 episodes of tear gassing down at the border during his administration. So this was so far an isolated case that's gone on down there. So what?
Well, I don't know if you heard about this. Get ready for this. That the in California they're suing the Trump administration for gassing these people. They're going to sue our government, our president's administration for gassing illegal people trying to enter our border. Wow. This is, I swear to God, I think we're in, we got to be in the end times. So Stephen Lauder just brought up some breaking news.
Yeah, I was
in Kabul, Afghanistan. Taliban insurgents staged a coordinated attack Wednesday, targeting a security firm in Afghan capital, killing at least 10 people and wounding 19 others.
Wow.
And U.S. officials said an airstrike hours earlier in Helmand province reportedly killed dozens of civilians that was conducted by American aircraft. Wow.
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 So there you go, a decision to betray. Yeah.
That is nuts.
Yeah, I mean it is, and it's all over, and obviously, yeah, where we at with it? So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't even know. You know, it seems like you know, conservatives are starting to wake up. They're getting a little braver, but we really need to like step up and get out there and not violence, but stop going with, well, we're conservatives and we can't really raise our voice and stuff. Well, bull crap, man. We're losing our country.
Yeah, I mean there is some shades of hope out there. I know that in that Rutgers, I'll throw this out here. This lady right here, she was supposed to, Daftari's, I'll say, originally scheduled speech about radicalism on college campus was canceled amid student outrage and claims of Islamophobia. Okay, so the funny thing about this is the students there raised 1,600 signatures on a petition to keep this lady out. So the chancellor basically uninvited her. All right, but the other funny thing says that the conservative caucus on the campus got their own petitions up, 1,400 of them, which is quite a feat because you have to assume that on that college campus, the conservative number is much lower than the liberal number. But anyway, so the vice chancellor for undergraduate academic affairs re-invited her to come and speak at the college, said there was confusion and that's why she was uninvited. So whatever the reason, glad that that's back on, I should say, because this is where it starts, people. This is
and that is the good news. The bad news is now they have a blacklist of all the conservatives at that college.
Yeah, there you go. So when they go for their jobs, all that stuff, they have no chance now, right? Wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I would have just signed with an X.
Yeah.
That used to be okay, you know? Yeah. So I don't know what else is out there. I'm trying to check out chat. Marshall on Periscope. We need to fight and pray. Mark Taylor's Trump prophecies. Among the number of applications can out.
Yeah, while you're reading that, I'll let you read over that so you can pick some out. I'll cover one last college story because really, people, as a parent with kids in college, you really got to know. It's like even when my kids come home from college, I have to like sit there and try to deprogram them. So, actually, I don't even have the picture of that up, so I'll just have to tell it to you. So, Southern Connecticut State. So November is Social Justice Month. All right.
All right. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
At Southern Connecticut State University. So they've come out. They're going to be promoting the racial justice part of that, and this is. And their definition access, opportunities, and treatment, I have no problem with all that, leading to equitable outcomes for all. People, that is a pipe dream. You can have equity of opportunity. You will never have equity of outcome, and you can't force it. Once you try to force it, you promulgate the whole racist thing. It's kind of like the reverse. And
it's almost like affirmative action, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing where Asian kids are penalized points on the SAT,
Right.
whereas other minorities are given up to 200 points on an SAT. It's just not right. And the scary part is that this is Southern Connect. This is all happening on college campuses. This is happening with the ideology that's being pressed is happening from the top down. This is not something that happens from the bottom up insofar as being approved. Now, one of the things that they say as far as how they define white supremacy, and watch out because it's broad reaching and includes a lot of people that, it says they define white supremacy as an institutionally perpetuated system of oppression, of course, because in postmodernism, everybody's oppressed. You're oppressed. You just don't know it yet. But we'll find a group. Right. We'll find a group that's.
No, I'm not oppressed. I have white privilege.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, no.
According to them, I never got my white privilege. It must have got lost in the mail because I worked for every damn thing I got. So it must have missed my house.
That's because you're oppressed and you just don't know it. I'll find the group that's oppressing. I'll let you know who it is, and you can boycott them.
Appreciate that.
A complex system of beliefs and behaviors rooted in systems designed to maintain the superiority of those designated white. Clarifying these beliefs and behaviors includes those that are overt, meaning they're out in the open, they say. Those are very subtle. You can't even see them, but we know they're there. Unconscious, meaning you and me don't even know we're racist. And, and conscious, which goes to the thing of implicit bias, where you don't even know that you're racist, but you are, and so you're responsible. It doesn't matter if you think you are or not. It's just crazy. People, once again, and smarter people than me have always said, if you show me racism, I'll join hands and fight it with you. We're beyond that in this day and age. But don't just throw out the general term and a blanket over top of everybody and say everybody's racist, and especially just because you're white, you're racist. Give me an example. Give me an actual example.
Don't just spit it out there.
Yeah, just like Laura Loomer's a racist. Well, give me the example. Cite the quote. If she is, right. I want to know about it because I don't want to give my time or energy or the airtime that we spend together talking about somebody who is. So give me facts. That's facts. All I'm saying. Give me facts,
bro. One thing I want to go on the record, and I know you for years, so there is not a racist bone in my body. I welcome all people of all colors. I hate everybody equally. I'm kidding. I love everybody equally. I could care less about the color of your skin. I don't try to judge people, but I do judge people, from their actions and who they are. I could care less about your color. I welcome all people and I love people. I would do anything for anybody. So this crap that just because I'm white, I'm racist and I'm not even aware of it I can't even. It's like Disney World.
Right. And we both know that. Why is this being pushed like it is? Because as long as
division, divide and conquer. That's why.
Not only that, yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but the fact that if there's racism rampant in the United States, that calls for more government and more government oversight. It causes it gives the excuse to Twitter and Facebook and all these people that they're going to be able to shut people down for less and less and less justified reasons. And I'm not saying that people don't espouse racist views on the internet. I'm not. But whether or not they should be taken down is another thing, because my kumbaya talk and my kumbaya speech might be taken down if it's seen too. I don't know, but be careful. Be careful who you want to shut down. It's like the Nazi says, we ignored everything till they came to our door. By that time, it was too late.
Right.
I mean, not the Nazis.
And Stephen Lauder brings up a great point, talking about Hillary Clinton when she had said that joke about that all blacks look the same. If any Republican ever said that, they'd be fried. But then again, it's a joke. You know what I mean? It's a joke.
Well,
what happened to being able to laugh? Only if you're conservative and you say that will you be fried. If you're liberal, that was just a joke.
Yeah, it's just like the Halloween thing, and she got fired from who was it? They got fired for the blackface comment that she made. When she was just defending Halloween costumes and all that stuff. And
Megyn Kelly.
Megyn, thank you. And so, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it, man. Just prayers. We got to stay strong. We got to unite. we're on all different platforms. Rich points it out all the time, especially on his ending thing, stream.me, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, because we never know when the hammer's coming down.
Right.
We're working on a little special video that probably is going to go viral. I'm not going to say much more than that. It talks about Twitter shadow banning and shutting down people's accounts.
Oh.
So it's going to be good. You guys are going to love it. It ties in with the holidays, so
It'll be
it's a little teaser coming.
Be cuter than Tony. Well, and or Jake, the song that you have. So yeah, Laura Loomer. See if you can find her somewhere. I don't know. And let me ask you.
Hashtag Laura Loomer. You can find her anywhere. She has lauraloomer.us. She has her own.
Oh, she does. That's what I was going to ask you. Is there another place other than, because the way I was conceiving it is that she had no other outlet.
Right. And I try to not hitch my wagon to too many people until I really know them for a long time. Several people have offered me to do shows with them or partner with them. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but I really like to know people a long time. I'm very reserved with who I work with. Rich, I don't mind because I know him my whole life, basically.
That's right.
And so, I will give people a shout out, like when they're sticking up for being censored. But, to go all in with people, I've seen too much narcissism on these platforms. Too many people wish-washy, just doing things for clickbait, claiming they saved the world. And I just, I don't really get behind. I will support people, but I really won't push people's websites and all that too much, unless I know them.
Yeah, and I'm not like pushing people to go watch her because I don't know Laura's work as probably, as well as maybe I should. I don't know.
Right.
I think what we're talking obviously more here is the fact that they did it to her for this particular reason. And was it justified in the venue of why they did it to her at this point in time? And from what I saw from the tweet, that they yanked her down and pulled her 268,000 followers, however many she has. For that, no, it just makes me, wonder what the ulterior motive is driving, obviously.
Right. Now, Enabler Abe says, are we on Papillon.com? We'll have to check that out. Papillon.com. I don't know about that.
Yeah, not familiar with that. But yeah, that's the other thing, too. Hey, if anybody out there has buttloads of money and insane amounts of technological why are these, I never understood, why are these pretty much the only social media companies out there? How did they, I mean, I know that they've been backed by the government. I know that Facebook got his start from Thiel and the money that was invested by them. I just don't understand why something else doesn't get up off the floor. So,
well, you have Gab, but you're talking about an app like, Periscope or whatever. I don't know why conservatives with all this money haven't made their own platform where they can, be fair. I don't know.
And it does put you in a moral dilemma, because what do? I mean, you either say, I'm going to use your own platform to preach against you, or you say, I'm going to stop patroning your platform to try to defund you. Now, and it's kind of weird, and that's why we have 3 places to go, because at some point in time there's going to be that moral dilemma. I mean, on Periscope, we'll get 300-400 replay views eventually, and so that's a lot of people in comparison to YouTube and the stream.me. But at some point in time, why do we keep feeding the people that? No,
I've thought about that lately, and people were saying, how Laura Loomer was complaining about that she's shut down on Twitter while she's live on Periscope with 1 million views on one broadcast, 14,000 on our show, which is crazy, and I constantly make, comments about Jack Dorsey on Twitter right on his own platform, and YouTube and, Google and Facebook and all of them. And if you shut me down, I don't really care. I guess eventually we're either going to get our own platform where everybody's welcome, or we're going to have to think about this, actually meet in person, which is just scary. Like they used to, like people are like, what would we do if they banned us all from Twitter? How did people get elected before social media?
Yeah.
They met. They had town halls and they went door to door. This is, something we may have to do.
Yeah, we hop on an Amtrak, and every city we stop at, we go out on the caboose and espouse our political views, I guess.
Exactly.
Like they did in the olden days, I guess. But
no, I think we're too lazy for all that.
Yeah, geez.
Rather just fire up this thing with a green screen, and you could put me on mountain. Where are we right now? Oh yeah, I'm in Arizona. Or we can go to the White House or wherever we need to go.
The MITS, man, Monument Valley. You're in Monument Valley. That's
without going through a security checkpoint, TSA at the airport.
That's right. All right.
So that's it.
Well, we're exhausted now, and I'm sure we've exhausted you guys. So.
Nah, man, they love it.
Yeah, well, we love you guys, and we appreciate you coming to watch. So, hey.
Absolutely.
And it's Friday night. There were better things to do. You could have done them. You didn't. You showed up here. Once again, thanks again for the subs, because it did give a unique URL. So now all you have to do is type in YouTube/C/Vantage Point USA. It takes you.
Yeah, you don't even need to see, actually.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No, I know it shows that, but both works.
Okay.
So
awesome.
/Vantage Point USA, and it doesn't even matter if you use caps or not. It's pretty cool.
Sweet, good. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to do the outro. We'll catch up later.
All right.
And we will check on that papillon.com. Steve and Abler Abe, all you guys, the people that we haven't seen before. Appreciate it.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. John Adams. I like that, Steve. Anyway, we'll be in
replay viewers. What's up? Thanks for watching.
Yeah, we're out, and let's see if this thing will work. Hold on. Give me some more talk time as I try to find the outro.
Have a blessed night, everybody.
Hold on, don't say that yet, because I can't find my outro yet.
That's all right. I could do a little song and dance if that don't work.
All right, so there is no outro tonight. So.
All right, so there you go. We'll just end it on this note.
Yeah, it's been